Hey there, guys. So today, already got it poured out. We're looking at Founder's Sweet Repute. Poured this while everybody was kind of talking at the dinner table, but everybody left, so I figured we'd do a review on it as well.
We were trying to really get through Kaplunk because that thing was.
Yeah, I still feel okay though.
No,
Anyway,
I'm definitely feeling it. But
Founder's Sweet Repute was from their 2013 backstage series, specifically from the winter part of the series, and this comes in at 12.6% alcohol by volume. This is their wheat wine aged in bourbon barrels and bourbon maple syrup barrels. So basically, bourbon barrels that had previously held maple syrup. Anyway, yeah, I've never had this beer. I've never had this beer. I think this one was very limited. I think it actually eventually did come to Texas, but I think only Austin had it. Closest to us, Dallas maybe. I'm pretty sure it didn't come to Houston. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think only Austin got it. Anyway, I was quite a bit back, so let's check and see how it's doing. So, of course, talk a little bit about the appearance. Pours out this kind of bright amber type color to it. It's got this just slightly off-white head. And on the aroma, it smells a lot of wheat. I would say kind of more caramel-focused bourbon, maple syrup, definitely. Still getting the maple on this. I mean, even after about 4 years of sitting in the bottle, still getting a pretty solid amount of maple, I'd say. It smells very similar to a barley wine, but a bit brighter. I would say a bit sweeter. Definitely.
Much sweeter.
It smells
sugary.
pretty sweet and sugary.
Pretty sugary.
Yeah. So, check it out. Cheers. Cheers. Well, it is pretty sweet. Initially, actually. And Jordan's went down the wrong hatch there.
A little bit.
Anyway.
I was not expecting that. That's sort of floral.
Yeah, so definitely getting the hops in the back end. Right up front, I think it's big maple, big sugar, maple, brown sugar, caramel.
It's not sweet, but it's.
I think it's sweet initially. I
Yeah.
think up front it's pretty sweet. However, on the back end, it is not sweet to me at all. I think it dries out pretty well. Probably from the barrel aging and the fact that it feels like they hopped it pretty decently. Or because, I mean, I heard a lot of things about this beer being overly sweet, but honestly, it dries out and kind of has a almost, I wouldn't say assertive bitterness, but enough to really balance out the sweetness of the beer.
I'm not sure if it's me because it went down the wrong tube, but it burns the back of my throat pretty bad.
Okay, well, I didn't get a whole lot of alcohol, honestly, on the
so
first
then
sip.
that's just me. I didn't get any of that sediment though that got in my glass, and so I'm gonna try this. So.
Yeah, for 12.6, really not too boozy, in my opinion. This has a lot of similar characteristics to an American barley wine, but a bit sweeter. Honestly, the difference for me between the wheat and just barley is the fact that it feels a bit brighter in flavor, a little bit sweeter in flavor, not just from the maple syrup.
It's an interesting age because I feel like older barley wines you can kind of. Oh man, what's more earthy? I guess.
I mean,
it's coming up.
No.
Oh.
The thing with me with American barley wines, and I mean, I honestly think it's the first wheat wine I've ever had. There's not a lot of them around. Is that they typically use hops that are higher in alpha acids, and for me, the problem with that is that they really get that stale hop flavor a bit too early, and of course are more bitter, a bit more pungent. I prefer English barley wines. The fact that the hops that they use that are higher in beta acids are more. They don't. It's like there's this. What's the word I'm looking for? There's sort of this can't think of the word right now.
More
Anyway, it
fresh.
kind of counteracts the sweetness. Like, it's
Yeah.
really intense in sweetness and malt character, but also really intense in bitterness and a certain hop flavor.
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty floral on the back end.
Yeah.
Very earthy, in my opinion.
That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Right there.
And
It's weird for barley wine for me.
well, that's a kind of a big thing of American barley wines. Is that a lot of them do have that, where they have very high, it's a very high gravity, so a lot of sweet malt character to it, and they go, well, let's balance it out by throwing a bunch of bitter hops into it, and it's just extreme on both ends. I think that English barley wines are better in the sense that, I mean, they're sweet, but I don't feel like it's just this kind of extreme flavor versus extreme flavor that kind of clash. I think that the beta acid or hops that are higher in beta acid sort of complement the malt better in English style barley wines.
This feels a little less, or a little more. I can't tell. Like on the front end, it doesn't feel very boozy until it hits the back end.
I don't really get a whole lot of booze.
I don't get
I mean,
a lot
I'm
of booze.
feeling
Like
it,
whenever,
but I don't
yeah.
get a whole lot of booze. To be
Like I'm
honest.
feeling it coating my mouth, and it's like getting that burn a little bit, but it's not.
Definitely sticky.
It stays.
Yeah.
So the burn stays, which is weird for a barley wine because you usually get that burn throughout, and this one just kind of like not there, then it is. So it's very different from what when I am usually enjoy about a barley wine because I do like that burn mostly, and that's why I love those
Well, it's kind
things,
of a
but-
thing with these kind of beers, barley wines, wheat wines, whatever you want to call it, that are aged for a certain amount of time. Anything high ABV, typically, I mean, you want the alcohol. Like, I don't know. For me, I actually don't get much alcohol in this at all. I feel like it mellows out most of the time after
It's pretty mellow.
a certain amount of age.
Mhm.
But anyway, the big thing to take away from this beer is that I feel like there's a lot of similarities to American barley wines, with that kind of very sweet malt, sweet flavors, with the kind of more sort of hop bitterness and hop flavors. So if you're into that kind of thing, I mean, it's a good example of that. I prefer the English style a bit more, but this has some uniqueness to it with the fact that it was aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels. So you do get the maple, which I do like. So I prefer this more than most American style barley wines.
Don't make it, because I feel like you're kind of making it sound like it's sugary. You don't get that sugar.
It is at first, though.
It is at first,
You get
but
a
it
lot of
doesn't-
sugar, but the hop character and the oak dry the beer out.
take over, yeah.
Well, they dry the beer out.
Like,
and
it doesn't even give you that metallic-y kind of metal aftertaste, that sugary
that's
stuff.
usually from, well, I don't know. I mean, that can be from autolysis,
Yeah.
which some age,
But I mean, the
age
sugar,
beers
like,
have
the
that.
sugar's there, and you taste it right off front, but you're right, it just kind of dissipates, and it's not that bad.
I feel like for the style, that American style, it works. It's probably more something that I prefer because I'm not the biggest fan of American style barley wines, wheat wines, or whatever you want to call it. But I think that it works mostly well for this beer.
Yeah.
So honestly,
you can get your hand on it.
yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of ball probably still existing. The fact is, at this point, you have to trade for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do like this. I don't find it to be overly sweet, which I know was a concern with the beer when it came out. At least at this point, I don't find it to be overly sweet. So I'm going to go actually pretty solid 4.25 out of 5 on this guy.
I'm right
like
there.
it quite a bit.
I'm right there. I like it quite a bit too. It is interesting though, for me and I drink a lot of barley wine, so it's a very different type kind of
it's
feel
unique.
to it. I mean, it might just be the age on it, but I mean, it is different. It's unique, and it's
Therein
very-
lies the difference between a wheat wine, maybe, and a barley wine.
possible.
So that could play a big difference. Anyway, it's pretty much it for Founder's Sweet Repute. You still got bottles of this. I think it's drinking still pretty well. Still get plenty of maple. Otherwise, it's pretty much it for this guy. So as always, cheers. We'll catch you guys later.